This is NHTV2, North Haven Government Television, a service of North Haven Community Television. The following program is brought to you through the support of the Town of North Haven.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our September Board of Selectmen meeting. Thank you for joining us. I'm joined by our second Selectman, Mr. William Piper, and our third Selectwoman, Ms. Sally Boemi. Welcome again to our September meeting. I would like to ask everyone here to stand for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here at North Haven's Town Hall. We have our masks, but we are socially distanced apart here with myself and Sally and Bill. We're observing all the protocols here in Town Hall, wearing masks upon entry, wearing masks upon walking through Town Hall. In a meeting like this, we work the chairs out. We are the socially distance apart, so we'll proceed with the meeting, and we'll go to item number 3, the approval of the minutes of the Board of Selectmen meeting of August 6th. Bill, can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay. I'll second that motion. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
One abstention, I missed that meeting.
Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit on item number 4 before we turn the meeting over to Sally and Bill. I want to share with each and every one of you that this has been an awfully difficult week here in North Haven, and we're very sorry that all of our residents have had to go through such tremendous turmoil, particularly not only this past week, but even with the hurricane that hit in early August. I'm grateful that as we sit here tonight addressing our citizens, that we are now in the cleanup mode, cleaning up all the debris across town. We've gotten through the power outages, and we had in the beginning of the tornado, and where we saw tremendous devastation, 40% of the town was out of power. And within 72 hours, we had all the power restored. And I'm very grateful for all the resources and allocations that we had. We worked very closely with the UI. But even with that, ladies and gentlemen, we still have a great deal of work to do. So I want each and every one of you to know that for the next 8 weeks or so, and perhaps even longer, we are on a mission here to help our residents. And that help is that we will be deploying public work resources to clean up the debris at curbside throughout the town. I need your help, though. And one of the things that we're seeing, and Bill and Sally I'm sure have seen it also, is the tremendous amount of volume that we see of wood, logs, branches, and debris. Please, if you can, keep it inside the curb, the 10 feet from the curb going in, or even if it's a little bit deeper. What we would prefer not to see is roadways blocked with piles of wood and logs and branches and debris. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you can understand that's a tremendous traffic hazard from an automobile standpoint and from a pedestrian standpoint. I'd like each and every one of you to know that in addition to this massive cleanup, we will still have bulk pickup at the end of September, the last 2 weeks. And all sanitation and recyclable pickup will still be on schedule. So we have a massive logistical game plan in effect. And our goal is to complete the debris cleanup, to do the bulk pickup, and to continue sanitation and recycling on a regular schedule. And then that will lead to leaf pickup, which we will still plan to do after we clean up the debris pickup. And one final point on that, ladies and gentlemen, please, we are not picking up leaves right now. We have to get through the massive cleanup on the debris, but leaf pickup will definitely happen once that concludes, and we anticipate leaf pickup beginning sometime in early November. So that's update number 1. Update number 2 is a subject that I know is of great interest to many of our residents. throughout these storms in August, throughout all the issues that we were faced with here, one of the things that I was directly involved with was the North Haven Health and Racket Club. So I wanted to give you an update on that. We actually put a press release out today. A little known fact about that facility is that the town owns the land. Many of you know that, but many of you don't. And the Tagliatella family owned the building and owned the personal property. The business had lost a great deal of money over the past 10 years, a staggering amount of money. And of course, COVID-19 did not help the situation at all. So as the Tagliatella family got older, they realized that they needed to divest it. And they interviewed a number of different potential operators. Many people called me, and I directed them to the Tagliatella family. The asking price for the facility, no one would want to pay it, no one did want to pay it because of the fact that the membership had declined to a certain extent and because of the losses that the business had incurred. So, we are pleased to announce, it went out today, earlier this afternoon, that the Tagliatella family has found a new operator. They're a group of people that run Tennis Central, which is a well-run tennis facility in Woodbridge and in Fairfield County. The facility, and this is where I came into play with the family and the operator, as I interviewed the people that the Tagliatella family brought to me as options, it was most important to this government that that facility remained open to our residents and that no disruption of services, whether it be racquetball, pickleball, tennis, or even the workout facility itself, were to be interrupted, those services. And I had a lot of calls on this from colleges, from our sports athletic program, from residents, from tennis players, from people who work out at the facility, that they would have hoped that we had influence to keep it as the same type of facility. And I did have the influence with the Tagliatella family to create a model moving forward that will replicate what it has been in the past, and the new operators will gradually increase it, modernize it, and update it over the course of time. So I wanted to provide that update. Bill and Sally, any questions?
I think that's great news. I mean, we've been, my family, my wife and I and our children have been members there for a long time, and they were always great people. I can remember, like, other places would not have done something like this. When our kids would go to college, they would actually, they wouldn't charge us the ongoing membership fee for the couple months they were in school till they came back in the summer. Mm-hmm. And so they were always, it was always a nice, well-maintained, clean facility, and they were great people, and they really treated everybody really, at least from our standpoint, treated everybody really well.
Great.
So I'm glad you were able to help them out.
Sally?
Are our comments limited to the racquetball, or can I make a comment about the tornado?
Whatever you like. Yeah.
Yes, I'd like to, I would like to join Mike and Bill and wishing everyone the best in recovering from that storm. It was certainly, it seems Hamden and North Haven are in Tornado Alley here in Connecticut. We had the May 2018 storm or tornado, and now this. I was talking to some friends who live off of Dixwell Avenue, right as you come from Hamden. You go under Route 15 and goes up the Dixwell Hill. There's some residential streets there on the right, and it came through there after it swooped through the center of Hamden. People were saying we didn't have any notice. Now I knew that it was coming because I happened to be watching TV. And there was a lot of coverage starting around 3 o'clock on all of the local, Channel 8, Channel 30, Channel 3. They were just, covering it nonstop and were alerting people in New Haven County that the storm was traveling quickly from Litchfield County, from the northeast coming southeast. But a lot of folks, if you weren't watching TV, didn't know it was coming. And as we all know, it came very suddenly, like a light switch, right? It came on, and then like a light switch, 12 minutes later it went off. And so these friends were, and I said, well, how about on your iPhone? And they said, yeah, well, we got one little message about a storm in Litchfield County, but nothing about it traveling quickly to, in the southeasterly direction. So, I just barely got my dog inside, and all of the furniture was left out there, and the umbrellas and everything, that could be dangerous, I don't know if we have to expect this to happen again. I mean, we've had 2 in 2 years. If we, might sound strange, but it reminded me of when I was growing up here in town in the 1960s in the fire headquarters on Broadway, which is next to Ludow's, which now has law offices in it. There used to be this horn that, because back then it was an all volunteer fire force, and this horn would go off and you could hear it throughout the town, and it would, depending upon the code, it would tell the volunteers where in town the fire was. But it also, they would ring it twice every day at noon. So in the summer, in the 60s, you were out playing in the summer. You weren't in the house on your computer, right?
Right.
You were outside, so you knew when that horn went off, it was time to go in. And I remember talking to one of the attorneys there in that building. And because they still have a lot of fire type paraphernalia there, and he says, I think that horn is still here. And I know in the Midwest they use a horn system to alert people of tornadoes. As crazy as it might sound, something like that could be looked into to blow that horn if a tornado is coming, because several people I spoke with said they had no notice. I'm sure you had notice, but have you talked to any folks who had no idea it was coming?
No, and I think I spoke to over 1,400 people.
Okay.
From Thursday at 4 o'clock to probably Wednesday morning, so no one mentioned that to me at all, but it did hit quickly, there's no question about it.
Right.
4:03 here,
yeah.
it turned dark outside here at Town Hall.
Exactly. And, where I was, it was about 5:04.
Right.
So I just, the
You are muted. You can mute or unmute yourself by pressing *6. Okay.
Is that me?
No. Sorry.
I just, the few people that I talked to said, gee, we had no idea.
Right.
But you're not sensing that. You talked to obviously a lot more. But it was just a thought that I had. Because obviously you can't get a robocall out that
The host
quickly.
would like you to unmute your microphone.
So-
You can press *6 to unmute.
Sorry.
I think, though, look, we have to be concerned about those that didn't know. So what we're doing here, which may solve this for the future, is, and we're going to be announcing this probably next week, but we are going to be upgrading our alert message system here. Many of you, I'm sure, received telephone calls from me, voicemail messages. And what we're doing, and Valerie and I are working on this, Bill and Sally, is that we're going to be implementing a new, more efficient alert system. That's a sign-up where people can register their landline phones or their cell phones. And Val, correct me if I'm wrong, that not only will that they receive notifications from me, but they'll also get an alert, an emergency alert on a storm, I believe. Is that true or no?
Yes. Yes and no. It's part of the CT alert system.
Yes, part of the CT alert system, right?
Yes, but if they join through CT alert,
Yes.
they would get those messages. But then to get things specific to North Haven, they need to
Yes.
put in a different code.
So it's a two-code system, ladies and gentlemen. So many of our residents were already part of CT Alert. And what was happening prior to 4 o'clock that afternoon was that there were messages coming in to landlines and cell phones saying this is an emergency message from the state of Connecticut through CT Alert. So I think Sally and Bill, we can minimize that happening again with the new system we have. By the way, We're on TV here. Whoever is on the line listening in, if you can mute your phone, please, because we're hearing your conversation and we're hearing background noise.
And I
Please,
think-
thank you.
I think what I did was I muted the wrong person. So
Okay.
if you could just give me 1 second.
The host would like you to unmute your microphone. You can press star 6 to unmute.
Sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, what's happening here, just so you know, is that because
You are unmuted.
we don't have a public meeting here, we, under the governor's executive order, in the transparency of the government, this government, we have a listen-in mode for the public. So what was happening, what you saw was there was some background noise, the phones on the other end weren't muted, and I apologize for the distractions.
Yeah, I know that lots of people got your messages, even people in other towns got your messages, which were very informative and helpful to folks in both the early August storm as well as the tornado, but they were after the fact. I was just concerned about trying to improve getting notice to folks before the fact. And so it seems like hopefully what you're talking about could help with that.
I think that will marginalize
Yeah.
that even to a lesser degree, so, but thank you for bringing that
Yeah,
up.
I mean, I had a couple of friends who said, we didn't know anything about it until we looked up and the sky looked funny. And, you know, if you were out for a walk and you didn't have your devices with you, or you weren't at a TV, you know, why would you know? Because it didn't look like a very bad day at 3 o'clock.
That's right.
It looked like a pretty normal day.
Right.
So, you know, it just, a little bit of notice could help people preserve personal property and prepare their house
Okay,
as best they could. So that's just the one comment I wanted to make. Thank you.
all
Like,
right.
while we're talking about the alert system,
Yes.
residents can go onto our website and begin registering. It's right on the homepage of our website. They can register their cell phones or their landlines, or just their cell phone, whatever they choose, but it's all on the website, right when you first log on.
Very good. So once again, this is a system, ladies and gentlemen, that we want all of our residents to consider participating in. It'll allow you to get alert messages from me, updates in storms, or God forbid, another crisis, and we'll keep you updated in terms of what's happening here in town. So thank you, Val.
Okay.
All right, so let's go to item number 5, and when we look at the agenda here, I'd like to ask Bill and Sally to rotate the rest of this agenda.
Okay. You want me to start?
Go right ahead,
Okay.
Sal. Yep.
Let me just, so item 5, this is a call for the annual town meeting to be held Tuesday, September 22nd, 2020, due to Governor Ned Lamont's March 10th, 2020 declaration of a public health emergency and civil preparedness emergency, and his subsequently issued executive orders, and due to the spread of coronavirus disease 2019 in the state of Connecticut, including New Haven County, in-person public access to this meeting will not be permitted. This will be an electronic meeting, and a video conference link and conference call dial-in will be provided for those individuals who would like to listen and participate, if electors, in the town meeting. Bill, you want to take it from there?
Thank you. The annual town meeting will consider and act upon the following. A, to consider and act upon a resolution in accordance with the recommendation of the Board of Finance to adjust appropriations of certain line items among the various departments in the fiscal year 2019-2020 budget, transferring amounts over $20,000 in the total sum of $253,380.38.
I'll make a motion to call the annual town meeting as read.
Okay, is there a second, Bill?
I'll second that motion.
All right. In the discussion, I just want to let everyone know that this is something we do every year, this annual town meeting, to reconcile the budget line-by-line differences that are over 20,000. So thank you for that. We'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay,
Number 6, under resignations and appointments, I will make a motion for the reappointment of Michael J. Frieda, 90 Harlan Park Road, to the Greater New Haven Transit Board of Directors for a 4-year term retroactive to April 1st, 2020, and expiring on April 1st, 2024.
I'll second Sally's motion.
All right, in the discussion, I just want to let everyone know that the reason I agreed to do this again, I have many boards and commissions I sit on, including being president of CCM, but because this is such a wonderful cause, it provides shuttle bus services to elderly and disabled people, and they've asked me to stay on because they know I have a lot of contacts across the region and across the state, so I've agreed to do it for another 4-year term, and that's why it's on the agenda. So, all right, so we have a motion, we have a second, we've had discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
And I will abstain.
Yep. Can I just ask a question about
Yes.
the Greater New Haven Transit Board of Directors? The years go by so quickly, Bill and Michael. I don't know whether it was 2 years ago, it could have been 3 or 4. We had a matter before the Board of Selectmen regarding the land at the intersection of Second Point and State Street for the Greater New Haven Transit. They were going to put in a facility there. You've been serving, I assume, on the board, so is there any update on how that is going?
Yes, the update is it's on hold right now.
It's on hold, okay.
It's on hold, and that's a good question, so I'm
How
glad
many
you brought
years
it up.
ago do you think it was?
Oh, it's probably 2.5 years.
Yeah, I
now,
know,
so-
the years go by, right.
So it's on hold for 2 reasons. COVID, of course, is the main reason, but it's also on hold because of the cost to construct it. And being state and federally subsidized, it's on hold because of that. So either way, whether we get it or we don't, if we were to get it, then it would come here in North Haven. If we don't get it, the property will go up for sale. We already have 4 other interested buyers on commercial development there. And if we don't get it, it would be consolidated in a very near proximity to North Haven. So either way, we're going to come out of this with a win. But right now, to answer Sally's question, it is on hold. And I'm directly involved with the leaders of the DOT on this project. I know exactly the cost involved with this. I know the fact they're struggling in terms of coming up with the money for this. So, but it's on hold.
Thank you.
Okay.
Because they did a lot of work there already.
Yes, they did.
And when you go by, you could see how much remediation and everything they did to the building.
All right, we're at item number 7.
And as we often have on the agenda, these are, item number 7 is property tax refunds, all of which are, of nothing unusual and all very small amounts. So I'll make a motion to approve the property tax refunds.
I will second.
All right, we have a motion and we have a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for that vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We're at the end of the meeting.
We are.
Wow. All right, the next meeting, item number 8, the next meeting of the Board of Selectmen is Thursday, October 1st, in this conference room here at Memorial Town Hall. And by the way, as always, if there's a meeting that you can't make, we'll certainly be flexible. There's a meeting on December 3rd that I may have a conflict, but I'll let both of you know next month. At this point, I'm planning to not ask to change the date of this December 3rd, but I'll let you know either way next month, okay? So.
Okay.
No problem.
And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we got through the town business tonight. We provided some updates. We had some questions that were asked that we answered. And we look forward to seeing everybody on October 1st.
Yeah, before I make a motion to adjourn, I just wanted to ask you a question. I didn't put it on the agenda, my apologies. I believe the governor extended his executive orders through February.
Yes.
So if that means we're still not going to be having any people allowed to attend our meetings, I was wondering if there's any way we could allow similar to how we did in May before the budget presentation that you and Superintendent Stirk provided to the citizens. You allowed a window of several days for people to email questions about the budget. If we could set up some mechanism, maybe not for next meeting, but down the line, where people could, up till like 5 o'clock on Tuesday before a Thursday Board of Selectmen meeting, maybe submit some suggestions, comments, or questions.
Yes.
So that we have some ability of participation from the public, which is so important in our Board of Selectmen town meeting form of government. So if you would be so kind as to consider that, I mean, if you feel you want to limit the number of questions or comments to maybe 3, although we don't limit people when they come to the microphone, that might be something you could do. But I would just respectfully request that you consider initiating some type of mechanism. I miss Mr. Katz. I don't know about you guys. Yeah.
Sherman, we miss Sherman.
So-
we miss everybody. So we miss
too.
everybody out there.
We're here.
so.
I mean, you guys are lovely to be with, but I would love to hear from the folks. So if you would consider that. And the second thing I wanted to mention, you guys know how I feel about matters related to veterans. Yesterday, September 2nd, 2020 was the 75th anniversary of the end of World War II and the signing of the peace agreement on the USS Missouri. And I know we mentioned VE Day, which is Victory in Europe, in May at our May Board of Selectmen meeting. But of course, the World War II continued in the Pacific for several months thereafter. Yesterday was the 75th anniversary of that signing. And I just wanted to mention it. Unfortunately, they had a big, huge thing planned. If you've seen pictures of that signing, they had hundreds of sailors and Marines packed into every square inch of that ship to observe that signing. And they had invited many of them who are now 95 and older to come back to the USS Missouri, which is anchored at Pearl Harbor. And of course, with the COVID, that was unfortunately canceled. But, my father fought in the Pacific, so perhaps there's a little personal reason why I wanted to mention the 75th anniversary, but you both know very well my dedication to World War II history, and I just wanted to mention that. And thank you very much for allowing me to do so.
That was a good picture in the register of them all packed to the end, putting people up on the mast and everything, sitting on the
it looked a
way
little
above the
dangerous,
ship,
but
I'd never seen that picture before.
Yeah, that's
about
how they
were
wanted to see what was going on.
in
And
Missouri.
it's quite a day, and that was 75 years ago yesterday. So thank you very much. And with that, I thank you for allowing me to say that, and I will make a motion to adjourn.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sally.
Yes.
Bill?
I'll second that
Okay.
motion.
Thank you. So we have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and have a very happy Labor Day weekend. Thank you.
Great.
The preceding program is brought to you in part through a grant from the town of North Haven. Watch town meetings or other videos on demand at nhtv.com.